Well, I don't think there's any guess or question as to what today is here in Sagersville. In McGoffin County, it is Maroon and White Day. As the McGoffin County Hornets are, well, as you're watching this, certainly for the early show, on their way, if not already arriving, at Appalachian Wireless Arena for the 15th Region Championship. There are volumes of history that go along with just making that statement that I do not have time to delve into tonight because I've got to make it to the game, which means leaving here a bit early, which meant putting the show together early. So we'll talk about Friday night's game against Johnson Central, the fourth this season, in just a few moments, and some highlights, but we will pick it up tomorrow and wrap up in its entirety coverage of that game and the gravity of the whole situation for the McGoffin County boys going into the championship tonight, and of course highlights from tonight's game. It does not mean that I don't have a great deal of news to cover for you this evening, for those of you who are watching. A protest in Sagersville, a very vocal one earlier today. We'll talk with some of those who participated, as well as timing would have it, updates on 2 cases pertaining local people charged with crimes against children, sex crimes. One sentenced in both federal court and in state court here on the county level, as we have a number of years that a McGoffin County man will be serving, as the paperwork has just been released today. And some other headlines, of course, which will follow. And following this message, first off, an update on the arrest of the man that caused schools in at least 5 districts to be put on lockdown past Friday, as I told you. It was a manhunt, lasted almost 24 hours, but he is in jail, and we'll tell you why in just a second. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or a relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
You've seen the forecast, right? You know what season it is, so it is time to get ready. With New Year deals that are worth up to $200 off a new set of tires, and get your car running like new with only a $35 state-of-the-art computer diagnosis, and save all the payments for later with 6 months same as cash at Conley Tire and ConleyTire.net. Cooked cabbage is back at your Sagersville Lee's, and so is the low-carb plate. I mean, yes, you can call it a low-carb plate because it is. There's barely any carbs in it, but it's also one of the tastiest meals we've got. And the healthiest, low-carb or not. With juicy roast strips, our famous green beans, and yes, that tasty cooked cabbage. A taste and flavor all its own, and only at your Sagersville Lee's. Regardless of what season it is, you can always find fan favorites of the Ville, Sagersville, at the seasonal shop. For the dudes, Duke and Cannon, Turn Rose, and more. And always something for all the Hornet fans. And for all the ladies, it's always Wildcat season, and it all changes daily. That's why you always have to make a stop at the seasonal shop just next door to Fraser's Prater Drug Store. The best place for all your prescription, over-the-counter, and Radio Shack needs, with some of the very best hometown lunch specials and treats. They're a pair like you can find nowhere else but in Sagersville.
Atrial fibrillation is one of the more common rhythms we see.
AFib is an arrhythmia of the heart where the top part of the heart is beating erratically and out of sync with the bottom part of the heart.
The electrophysiology service is made up of a team of healthcare providers, and that includes an electrophysiology lab where we're able to do procedures to help repair heart rhythm problems. When a patient becomes heart rhythm free, it can really restore their life.
ARH, more for Appalachia.
It was late Friday night. It was 18 hours in the making that authorities, Kentucky State Police and county authorities in Wolfe County, were able to apprehend the man who was the subject of a manhunt after shooting another individual in Wolfe County earlier that morning. It was a situation that, of course, as I covered on Friday and throughout the day on our social media platforms, that led to local authorities and officials putting McGoffin County schools on a soft lockdown out of an abundance of caution. McGoffin County, one of at least 5 school districts to do so, given the unknown whereabouts of the shooter, who, again, has since been jailed. Given the nature of the crime, given the fact that authorities believe the suspect to be highly armed and certainly dangerous. Schools from Wolfe County to McGoffin County and in between were put on lockdown voluntarily and with the assistance of authorities as a precaution. In the end, it would be later that night, again, some 18 hours later, that 44-year-old Pedro Torres of Campton would be arrested. We have now learned that he has been charged with first-degree assault, fourth-degree domestic violence, and second-degree unlawful imprisonment, as well as terroristic threatening. He's accused of shooting a man in Wolfe County early Friday morning and leaving the scene before the arrival of authorities, who now say that the suspect pulled a gun after an argument over a four-wheeler, firing the weapon 4 times, striking the victim at least twice, the victim being airlifted to a Lexington hospital. No known update on his condition at this hour. I was told Friday that his injuries did not appear to be life-threatening. No other details were given about how and where the suspect was apprehended, but there were no other confirmed cases of violence related to the suspect in any of the counties, that being Lee and Wolfe and Breathitt and Powell and Owsley and McGoffin, which saw schools put on lockdown. In other headlines tonight, this morning's protest in Sagersville. For whatever reason, be it the rate at which it is happening in our community or the increased effort by law enforcement to try to fight it, an increase of how often things of this nature are reported, a combination of any of those and or a number of other possibilities. I can tell you with certainty that in my over 25 years of reporting behind this desk for Your News Today, and not just with my history since owning the Sagersville Independent, but for its history in its entirety, and that goes back a long time, over 100 years, there have never been more open cases or investigations at any one time active into sex crimes against children in our history that we can determine. And a group of very vocal, very determined, and peaceful protesters have declared enough is enough, marching to downtown Sagersville this morning on what they say will be one of many, many occasions until this horrendous pattern changes and children are safe from predators.
Not your reputation! Not your reputation! Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting? It should be our children! It should be our children! Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
I advocate for all these children, my children, your children, our children. All of the recent outcomes of child abuse in our county, we are outraged. And we're tired, and we want justice for our children.
A problem Montgomery, a social worker for 7 years, says is not a new one.
No, it's not new. It continues to happen over and over and over. And I've watched a lot, I've seen a lot, being a social worker for the past 7 years, but this hits different. This is my county. This is my town. We just want justice for the children. All the children that has been hurt, we want justice. We want this to stop. We want this to be taken seriously. We plan to be at every trial, every arraignment, every single time that there is someone here, we are going to be here to advocate for these children, for our children, to make sure McGoffin can know we are serious and this has to stop. We want to encourage anyone that's willing to stand up against the silence, stand up with us against child abuse. Come and protest with us. We have a protest group on Facebook. It's called Protecting Our Children. You can reach out to any of us. We're not just doing this for fun. We're doing this because it affects us. It affects you. It affects all of us, but it's affecting our children. And enough's enough.
And as timing would have it, developments today on 2 of the many ongoing local investigations related to those types of charges. The first with a McGoffin County man having a plea arraignment this morning simultaneously to that protest going on outside the McGoffin County Justice Center. 42-year-old Kent Simpkins of Sagersville was in the McGoffin County Justice Center earlier today for an official arraignment hearing. First being arrested a number of weeks ago, this was the first court appearance for him where he entered a plea of not guilty. This after the Kentucky State Police Electronic Crime Branch said they uncovered child sexual abuse material during an investigation that was started by their department after learning that someone had uploaded a video of a minor in a sexual performance after executing a search warrant at his residence. They say during the interview at which he reportedly admitted to operating the account and seeing the material of underage minors that were being shared from other users. During the investigation, authorities also found a video related to his dog and himself in some sort of a sexual act. He was charged with 3 counts of possessing matter portraying a minor under the age of 12 in a sexual performance and 1 count of distribution of the same. Again, pleading not guilty this morning. The next update I have is the case against David K. Jackson, 55, of Sagersville, formerly of Sagersville. His current address listed as the federal penitentiary in Atlanta, where he was brought for a court hearing recently pertaining to the 2 cases against him. As we reported to you back in April of 2022, a McGoffin County grand jury first released an indictment against Jackson, who lived in an apartment on Allen Drive, facing then 21 counts related to the possession and distribution of child pornography, stemming from an investigation by the Kentucky State Police's Electronic Crime Branch, which arrested him at his home in June of 2021. According to the press release at the time, the Electronic Crime Branch began the investigation after they discovered he was uploading images of child sexual exploitation online. 20 counts of possessing or viewing matter and 1 count of distribution of matter portraying a minor in a sexual performance was what he was indicted on. Then in March, he was indicted on federal charges related to the same investigation on 2 counts of receipt of child pornography and 1 count of possession of child pornography. And related to both cases, he has now changed his original not guilty plea to guilty, reaching a plea agreement in both the federal and state courts. As for the federal level, he entered a guilty plea to count 1 of the 3-count indictment, saying that he knowingly received a visual depiction of a minor engaging in a sexually explicit conduct. Saying that on around May the 20th of 2021, he downloaded an image of a prepubescent female believed to be 7 to 11 years of age, and the description from there on is graphic. I will simply summarize it to say, bound and unclothed, for which he was sentenced to 210 months, 17 and a half years on the federal case. Also ordered to pay a fine of some $6,100. On the state case here in McGoffin County Court, he also pled guilty after changing his plea, entering a plea of guilty on out of a 21-count indictment, all but 3 of the original counts that were related to either the distribution or possession of matter portraying a child in a sexual performance. He was sentenced to 5 years for count 1, 5 years for count 2, 5 years for count 3. He was also sentenced to 5 years for counts 4 through 21, with 3 of those to run consecutively, meaning he was sentenced to a total of 15 years on the state level, as well as 5 years of conditional discharge and the usual parameters thereafter upon being released, saying that he shall not have any contact with children without permission or approval, that he will not reside in a setting where there are children without approval, that he will not have access to a computer initially, but graduated after approval, and other stipulations per his plea agreement. 17 and a half years, 15 for the other. They are to run concurrently, while the years for the state court run consecutively, totaling up to 15. As for the 2 cases themselves, they will run concurrently for a total of 17 and a half years. There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway. Sagersville National Bank hopes to help you start the new year with financial freedom and peace of mind. From new services like Apple and Google Pay with your debit card to their more than century of being dedicated to being your personal or business banking institution, they're here for you with digital, phone, or in-person banking at both locations.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small-town values.
And Mom and Dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
All right, it's time for the calendar, but I got to put a little preface on the calendar announcement because I've had something going on in here for literally weeks now or longer, actually, but it's gotten to the point to where the email that I have had and used for this show since its inception back in 1998, it's gotten to where it's just not dependable. I'm not getting happy birthdays. I'm not getting very other important news-related messages from customers and viewers and the like, and so bear with me a few days. We're going to have to make a change and get around this little development because, for example, I've got a slew of birthdays here that got sent. I just didn't get them. Heather can't even email me from the other side of the wall, so just keep sending them. We'll keep working through them, and I'll get you a new link here very soon because I know it's an important part of the show, and we certainly don't want to miss a single news item, obviously, and most importantly, a birthday either, so I will get that figured out, but it has been a bit of a headache. With that said, birthday wishes and a bunch of them tonight. 87th birthday wishes to Nancy Bays, the happiest of birthdays. Nancy, to you, we hope you've had the most wonderful of birthdays. Happy birthday to you. This next one is certainly belated. It was sent for last Thursday when Michael Howard was celebrating his 60th birthday. From family and friends, happy belated birthday to you, Michael Howard. Happy birthday to you from all of your family. And from Audell Bays, or to Audell Bays, 86 years old, from Hanson and Michael Rao. Happy birthday to you. And to Ricky Carty, last Friday, from family and friends. Happy belated birthday to Ricky Carty tonight. And Tyler, happy birthday from your mom and your dad and a long list of family and friends. Tyler, happy birthday to you. And my apologies, but I'll get the email thing sorted out very soon. Free soil testing going on. The rest of the calendar is happening at your McGoffin County Extension Service the entire month of March. This is for garden, pasture, and lawn soil testing. You want to know what you need to get done to get whatever you're growing to green up or whatever color it needs to be. I promise you, I've used this service, and it is wonderful, and it's free this month of March. Free soil testing at your extension office this month. Call 349-3216 for more information. Even though I'm not real happy with how my email is working, YourNewsToday@yahoo.com, still send announcements to it. We're kind of circling back around to make sure we don't miss any. But as well, phone those in or send them to Heather at SagersvilleIndependent.com. It might be the safest thing to do for at least the next couple of days. From there, funeral service announcements tonight will begin with services this Wednesday, starting at 2 o'clock, for 75-year-old William Henry Red Gamble, who passed away on Saturday, survived by his wife, Patty, His 3 sons, William, Michael, Stacy, and Jonathan Ray Gamble. His daughters, Patricia Jean Rodriguez and Serena Minix, and well as his sisters, Wilma Blanton and Betty Blanton and Joyce Lemaster. He's also survived by 9 grandchildren and 4 great-grandkids. And services again start Wednesday at 2 from the Head of Coon Creek United Baptist Church. Friends can visit the church this evening and all day tomorrow for visitation. And 94-year-old Ada Bailey of Sagersville passed away Sunday, survived by a host of nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews. In addition to her parents, Ada is preceded in death by her 5 sisters. A graveside service will be held this Thursday at 1 from the Mann Cemetery at Bloomington. And it's the Hornets versus the Cardinals of Martin County tonight in the 15th Region Championship. That's just fun to say. After a fun game this past Friday night. The Hornets had this one down from the get-go, for the first half at least. They led 22. They were up by 22 at the halftime over Johnson Central, with the Eagles storming back in the second half, but still falling short, 77-67, McGoffin County taking the win again. For the 4th time this season facing off, 2 times in regular season play, once in the district, the 3rd before this game being the closest one in overtime, and then a rematch after this super regional format mixed everything up, with the win over Central Friday night securing them a spot in tonight's 15th Region Championship, which by the time you're seeing this is where I am.
I believe that we will win.
It was. I mean, they executed defensive plan to perfection. We told them at halftime, said, look, they're going to make a run. They're going to start hitting some shots. I mean, you know, they've got so many different shooters on that team that, you know, we knew that they was going to start hitting some shots. You know, we just held our composure down through until the last second ticked off and was able to advance to the regional championship game. I told them whenever we played the Prestonsburg game, I said we have to win that game to get in this. You don't win the regional championship game unless you're in the thing. So, you know, we've come out, we've won the games that we're supposed to get here. You know, we go back to the drawing board. We got a tough Martin County game on Monday night. I mean, when our kids play, I really like our chances. And, you know, I want to say a big shout out to the McGoffin County community. I mean, these stands were full. I mean, these kids, thank you guys very much, and we hope to see a bigger crowd here Monday night.
Oh, who knows what we'll have to see tomorrow night, one way or the other. It's going to be a thriller. With that said, forecast, not a very good segue there, not a thriller. We did top out at 60, almost 63 degrees today here in downtown Sagersville, and we'll fall back to just above the freezing mark at 34 tonight with clear skies and a mild southwesterly wind 5 to 7 miles per hour. Tomorrow's pretty, well, you know, I might have sold us a little short on my before-mentioned preface to the forecast because next 2 days are pretty sweet. 66 and sunny for your Tuesday, 41 tomorrow night. A little bit breezy tomorrow, southwesterly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour or so. For tomorrow night, partly cloudy, again 41. Wednesday, mostly sunny, pushing 70 with a little bit of a breeze again out of the southwest up to 10, 15 miles per hour or so. Partly cloudy Wednesday night. Temperatures go from the low 40s tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, to the upper 40s Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Thursday, warmer still. Mostly sunny. We should hit right around 75 midday or a little after, however, 2 o'clock in the p.m. or so. We will see about a 30% chance of rain. And that will take us into, of course, your Friday with an even, well, I don't want to say likelihood because Friday just looks like a wet one. So 75, mostly sunny. We'll get through at least half the day dry, I think, on your Thursday. And then we'll go into Thursday evening with some chances of rain. Friday, a 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 11 o'clock and on throughout the rest of your day. 67 clouds, showers, and storms for your Friday. Your Saturday looks to have some lingering rain up until mid-afternoon, later afternoon hours. 62, 48 your high, your low, mostly cloudy skies. Sunday, the sun returns after a few days of absence. Partly sunny, 61, a little bit cooler for your latter half of the weekend. And speaking of cooler, look at that. We dropped down to from low 60s to low 50s this time next week. Partly sunny next Monday and a continued 30% chance of some rain holding on. So again, anywhere from the upper 60s to the lower 50s as far as the temperature spread. And again, 68 on your Wednesday and 75 will actually be the peak on your Thursday. So I'm definitely out of here, and I will see you back here tomorrow looking for some big highlights. With that said, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Monday.